You know what? Teddy and Ajay are going to talk about Sanctuary on InnerSpace, aren't they? Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
You cute, cuddly little biscuits, you. Come here. Come on. Come here. Bring it in. Come on, guys. No? Fine.
Tonight on InnerSpace,
Throw things, bash things over each other's head. It was a blast.
the cast of Sanctuary have a smashing good time. I've often thought of us as cute, cuddly little biscuits. Come here, Ryan. Bring it in. Bring it in, buddy.
Yes, thank you for that, Robin Dunne and Ryan Robbins. Welcome to InnerSpace, everyone. We have a decidedly, well, uncuddly show for you tonight. It's actually all about the rough and tumble episode of Sanctuary we just watched.
Yeah, everybody was fighting tonight. Well, almost everyone. We're going to get down and dirty with the cast and crew as we dissect this SmackDown episode and point out the one player we did not see throw down.
And I see...
Well, everything finally came to light for the team on Sanctuary tonight after Henry finally found this video.
Stop right there.
Isn't that Dr. Hottie
The UN security chief?
carrying a stunner?
Oh, this is not good.
Well, not good for them, but good for us. It was nice to see Sanctuary return to its original form of these, one-off episodes where they've got to solve a problem, work as a team. And, I mean, it wasn't your typical episode because, of course, everyone was fighting, but I just thought it was refreshing after the very heavy, huge story arc that they had the past few episodes.
Yeah.
We still got some new information in this one, but I enjoyed it overall. It was almost like a parody of The Hangover with more violence.
Well, yeah, it totally had more violence. And there was no baby this time. We did, though, learn that Magnus was off informing the other sanctuaries of Hollow Earth. Potentially a new character, as we saw, this Dr. Hottie here. But let's talk about the fighting, because that's what it was all about tonight. We've seen Magnus kick butt before, even recently in the Breach episode with Adam and the wormholes.
So awesome, that episode.
Waiting for him, kicking butt. But I like it this one. She stayed above the fray. This maternal character coming back, her teenage kids had ransacked the place, right?
Yeah, it was nice of her to stay above the fray, not get involved.
Could she beat everybody in the sanctuary in a fight? Because I'm thinking if push came to shove, I think Bigfoot could actually maybe take Helen Magnus. She's tough.
What?
But Bigfoot's Bigfoot.
Bigfoot would never lay a hand on Magnus.
Well,
in no circumstance would they ever fight. No way.
I know that. You don't have to be all indignant. I was like, who would win in a fight thing, right?
Yeah, well, they would never fight.
That's a no-fly zone for you.
Exactly.
Okay, well, here's Robin Dunne and Damian Kindler talking about how different this episode was for them to shoot and how much fun they had doing it.
Certainly a fun episode to shoot because we had a lot of stuff, like a lot of breakaway stuff. We totally got to trash Magnus's office and various other places in the sanctuary. And yeah, we got to do a lot of our own stunts, which is fun. It's always great that we're allowed to do as much as we possibly can. So yeah, it was definitely a crazy episode. And you'll see those characters in a light that you've never ever seen them before, pitted against each other.
I consider that almost like a group therapy session from everyone, because everybody got to kind of trash the sanctuary, have the characters speak to each other in ways they never speak to each other, like I want to kill you, and kind of get your yayas out of frustration.
Andy Makita, the director of the episode, said, look, why don't you just go in there and just go hog wild, pick up anything you want, throw things, bash things over each other's head. It was definitely a lot of fun, hitting each other with golf clubs and stuff with their rubber, and it was a blast.
I think we've all had housemates where you just, something happens and you just go, I really want to throw a couch at that guy, And that's, I think, is why people can relate to that episode.
That's so funny. I know exactly what they're talking about.
Everybody's had housemates or roommates like that, right? It's
Right,
relatable.
yeah, that's what I was talking about, yeah.
You were talking about me!
No!
Very mean, sir. I love, though, that they got to trash the place. They probably spend a lot of time on the set, and so that the fact that they get to, tear at the walls and throw props around that have just, suddenly annoyed them the whole time.
Yeah, well, any place to get paid to do that. Just go in there and break stuff for a little while. Get your anger out. That'd be fun.
We need an InnerSpace episode. We'll trash this place. We'll get some tension out between us with fisticuffs.
There's no tension between us, Teddy. I was joking before.
You should see where we stop rolling.
But let's quickly talk about the abnormal that we were introduced to in this episode, the Pinapex. I thought this was really cool. And
Yeah, they brought it back to an abnormal.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of the con worm on Supernatural from a few episodes ago that was infecting Bobby and Rufus.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
It was neat, and I also wonder, you know, they're really fun people, all of the actors and the people behind Sanctuary. So you wonder if they were just sitting around thinking like, hey, you know, we've all had crazy mornings where we can't remember stuff. Let's make an episode for it, and then deductively went back and came up with the plot points.
Perhaps that is
cool.
the case. Maybe they all went out partying together, because considering this is a 20-episode season as opposed to the typical 13, obviously the cast and crew have been spending a lot more time working together.
Oh, yeah.
And as Robin Dunne tells us, it goes well beyond the walls of the Sanctuary set.
We do see each other an enormous amount of time, but that's also speaks to the connection between us all and the friendships that we all have, and you know, the fact that we can spend 16 hours a day with each other and then, you know, socialize on the weekends is saying a lot.
Well, their camaraderie off-screen certainly shows on-screen, and I gotta say, though, watching the episode, I was a bit worried for Robin Dunne, because Ryan Robbins has actually got some fighting experience in there. I wouldn't want to go toe-to-toe with him, even though he's a really friendly guy in person.
Ryan's an MMA fighter.
Yeah,
so
he's got some experience.
Well, I'm glad you didn't kick their butts. And glad you didn't kick our butts after last week's InnerSpace, our first time talking about Sanctuary on the show. We did get some great feedback from you, though.
Yeah.
Rick wrote in regarding my theory that Druitt would try to team with Adam to get him, or at least, you know, make a deal with him to get him to pull the evil out of him. Rick had a different idea and said, come on, guys, it's an antimatter device. It can be used for time travel. So how about Druitt makes a deal with Adam, who knows how to use the device, to help him travel back in time to undo some of the bad stuff he's done. So instead of having evil pull out, erasing his time as Jack the Ripper and not having to live with that guilt.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's an interesting idea, but doing any sort of deal with Adam is a bad idea. I still think we might see his brain end up in a jar, which would be cool. We got another great piece of feedback from Curtis, who said, glad they opened last week's episode with more about Magnus's dad, but will there be a future episode that will tell us what happened to Will's mom?
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully with this extended season, perhaps we will get a bit more of Will's backstory, perhaps more of Henry's as well, you know?
Yeah, I would love to see that. Well, let us know what you'd love to see with the rest of the season. Post a comment on our blog at spacecast.com.
Tweet us, twitter.com/spacechannel.
Hit up our Facebook fan page.
Or send us an email, innerspace@spacecast.com. And don't forget that tonight's episode of Sanctuary will be available for your viewing pleasure at spacecast.com beginning tomorrow.
But stick around, we've got your sneak peek of next week's all-new episode of Sanctuary. Then later...
We know exactly who you are, Dr. Will Zimmerman, and you're here for one reason only.
Yeah, to give us a sneak peek of next week's Sanctuary.
Well, as we heard, the cast of Sanctuary had a lot of fun with tonight's episode, so we're going to turn it over to Amanda Tapping for tonight's sneak peek.
Here's your sneak peek of next week's episode of Sanctuary.
You have the wrong people.
No, we don't. You don't know what's going on, so if you want to stay healthy, just shut up, listen, and learn, both of you. We know exactly who you are, Dr. Will Zimmerman, and you're here for one reason only. You save his life, or you both die.
Back to you, Teddy and AJ.
Well, thank you, Amanda Tapping.
She said our names.
I know. That new episode of Sanctuary is next Friday at 10 p.m. And hey, it's directed by the woman herself, Amanda Tapping, so it should be great. We'll follow with InnerSpace at 11.
And that's all we got for you tonight. We'll be back Tuesday, so have a great holiday weekend. Thanks for watching. See you in the future.
I'm off to have my Friday night math.